Hi, Aaron here, and I'm just going to walk you through a string replacement process. I broke a string, actually one of my students broke a string on their beautiful ukulele, and it's pretty rare on ukulele compared to guitar. You don't break a string that often, but you can see here, the strings are sort of tied around here. So let me just remove the old string, and then we'll start with the replacement. Just pulling it out here. I thought maybe there was enough string here to still be long enough and I could save the old string, but no, not long enough, so totally scrapped it. When you buy strings, usually in the package, there's some sort of explanation of how you know which string is which, because they're all pretty similar looking. This is the big name brand for ukulele strings, Aquila. And how they say which string is which is they're color coded. So there's it tells you the green one is the A string or whatever. And the one that has a little bit of red on it, if you can see that. The one that has a little bit of blue on it. So I'm replacing my A string, bottom string here. So I look on the package, and on the back there's a little legend, and it says my A string is red. So I look for the one that has a little bit of red on the end right there. I'm going to take that one. Okay. Let's see if you can see this. So at the bridge here, this part here is called the bridge. There's a little hole in the bridge that I'm going to thread it through right here. Just got to hit that hole. Okay, and now I've threaded it through. And now all I'm really going to do down here by the bridge is tie it on. So I'm just going to wrap it around once. Just did a loop. And that one wrap is probably not going to be enough. So I've got one wrap there. And I'm going to do it a second time. I'm just going to take that piece of string and wrap it around one more time. I'm going to try that again. One wrap. And a second wrap. So I've gone around twice. And then when I pull it tight, it looks just like that. Now, if there's a little bit of string hanging off the end here, that's fine. Often if I was doing the string first, and then the next, and then the next, and the next, each string would kind of wrap around this little extra piece of string here to keep it close to the bridge. Otherwise, you could cut it off, or you can just leave it, it's fine. And then, so now, that's all it is for that end. And that's nice and tight here. On the other end, I'm just going to poke it through, on the tuning post here, there's a hole in there. So I'm going to put it through the hole. Okay, now it's through the hole. And I'm going to kind of tie it on. So I'm just going to make a little, thread it through a little loop here. So I've kind of, there we go, just tied it there. And now this is a lot of string. It's very loose. I don't want there to be so much string here, because we're also going to have to turn it so many times to tighten it to pitch. Make it so that it's tighter. Okay, so now it's significantly tighter, but still, it's going to take a lot of turns to tighten it up. You don't want to make it too tight here, because you do want a bunch of turns on the post. Like if you can see these other strings that are here, there's a lot of string up here. You want it to have at least like 2 or 3 times around, at least. Okay, once you've got it through, all you do is you just tighten. And when you do, you want to make sure that you're going in the direction that's going to have the string on the inside of the post, not the outside. So the string shouldn't be out here. See, if you look at this first one, it's on the inside. It's on the inside. It's on the inside. So this looks like it's on the outside right now, but once I turn it the proper direction, it's going to wrap around the right way. And it'll end up on the inside, which is where I want it. And I just turn, and I 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 turn, and tighten. And one thing that we'll notice once you keep turning and turning and turning is this string that's really, really loose is going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. And as long as you turn it the correct way, it will end up on the inside like that and not the outside. Like you don't want it out here. And then you're going to tighten it up. One thing that's really interesting when you're tuning, replacing a string with a fresh string is that new strings are very stretchy. So at first, you're going to tune it and then it's going to go out of tune really quickly because it's going to stretch out and then get lower in pitch. Whoa. I'll show you that. Stretch out a minute. I think I've turned a lot. I feel I'm turning right now. The pitch is really changing, so you're going to get lower again. It's stretching out. So at first, put your string on, you're going to notice. It's going to go really easily. So this is around my target pitch, somewhere around there. But you'll notice if I stretch it out, and I'm going to manually stretch it out right now, it's going to go way lower. So here's the pitch now. La. I'm going to take my first finger and just put it on the first fret, just so I don't do anything weird when I do this. And then I'm going to just take my index finger of my other hand and just pull up and away. Not too hard, so I don't want to break the string or anything, but enough that it's going to stretch out the string. Because these strings are going to be under a lot of tension and they're going to stretch out, and that's going to make them get flatter and fall out of tune. So really stretching it. So remember, before it was like la 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 la. Let's hear it now. La 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 la. So it got flatter as it stretched out. So I got to tighten it back up again. And I would do that a few times. So now it's back up to pitch approximate. Obviously I'm not in tune exactly, but my string's on there. Now I want to do that same thing. I'm going to put my finger right on the first fret and I'm just going to lift this string up with some force to stretch it out. It's okay. It's probably not going to snap. You don't want to go too crazy, but you can lift it up off the neck. La 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 la. Remember it was there? Listen now. La 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 la. So I'm going to bring it back up again. And I would do that 3 or 4 times. And that's going to reduce the amount of tuning I'm going to have to do on my new instrument, on my new string, as I'm playing it. Because as you play it, it's going to stretch out as well. Basics of changing the string. Oh, one more thing, sorry. I'm gonna do that one more time. Stretch, 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 stretch. So I've got my new string on now. I'm pretty satisfied with the way it looks and sounds. Got a nice bunch of wraps up here going around the post. If I have all this extra, you just take some scissors and just snip off this little extra, and it's as good as new. Thanks for watching.